podium where Jim Jones was speaking. So, I mean, goddamn, you know what I'm saying? This is the type of, so you hear this black power, you hear this black man is God, but in reality, when you look at the leadership and the who the fuck they rubbing elbows with, it's these kooky-ass crackers. You understand what I'm saying? It's these kooky-ass crackers, man. That's just a fact. You know what I'm saying? So I have no respect. I have no respect for him. I don't. And I don't give a fuck who here. I don't. I have no respect for him. And then this the killing part, just so people know. I used to love Farrakhan, man. Believe me. I mean, I used to, as a young brother, I used to run hard to make sure that I would hear Farrakhan on Friday. I used to take his lectures, man. And a lot of people didn't get a chance to hear Farrakhan when he was younger. Man, shit, man. That man was fire. Man, that man was fire. Just like people here talk, that man was fire, man. I could have never thought, man, I could have never thought he would be here today where we at, encouraging people to study under a kooky-ass cracker, dope fiend like Ron L. Hubbard. I just don't believe it.
No, sir, he has not. He like Corb at the Mount Sinai, has went off the track, and all he cares about is money and riches and material things. He has made sure that him and his family are well off, and all of those who surround him, which I call the talented 10th, like they used to have back in the 20s and the 30s, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And he also, with all the money he has had going through his hands, I mean, if you look at it since 1981, if you just want to go there to 1981 until today, Mr. Farrakhan has had millions and millions of dollars in his hand. And if he was really the one that was supposed to erect and raise the black man's conscience and put us in a better condition today, which would be heaven, then why hasn't he done it? If he had that power, like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he would have done it by now. But he does not have that power because he was not ordained. He took it upon himself with Jibril Muhammad and with Tainetta Muhammad and built us and described, well, let me say it right, and developed a scenario that they built off of in order to do what they're doing today. And yet, where are the temples? Where are the stores? Where are the schools? Where are the businesses? They're nowhere. Now, what kind of man of God is that? However, I will agree that Farrakhan and probably several other ministers, so I'll say it was probably some other ministers too, and I'm going to say it was some other ministers, but basically Farrakhan, because he was the national spokesperson, and he was well known, and he was seen most, and he spoke the greatest and the most strongest. He did flame the fire because of the fact that he spoke about Malcolm being a traitor and that he was worthy of death because what he had did by turning against his teacher and his father, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And
he spread flames.
He did that, and he has said as much. The Farrakhan has said as much himself many a time that he does not believe that he is guilty of pulling the trigger, but he did spread the flames because of the way he spoke so hard and so long about Malcolm being a traitor.
Yes.
And you know why? Because really, I know without a shadow of a doubt, brother, that Farrakhan is suffering, and Farrakhan is going to get just what he bought.
Wow.
But Farrakhan is doing just what Master Farrakhan Muhammad want him to do. As we say in the nation, not a leaf falls from the tree unless by the permission of Master Farrakhan Muhammad. So he's doing just what he's supposed to do, being a buffer. He's being like a sickle, dividing the tares from the wheat and the righteous from the unrighteous and the believers from the non-believers. So, I don't have a problem with Farrakhan doing and what he's doing and the people that he's doing it with. What I have a problem with, and not only me, but many of us who are out here that still stand on the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad alone and nothing else. Yeah. What we have a problem with is that he's using our messenger's teachings to hide behind his dirty religion, just like he told the Jews. Farrakhan don't really got probably but a good 5,000 strong standing so-called believers. And out of them, maybe half of them, maybe so-called brothers, so-called FOI. But even out of them, half of them, it is not even half of them, is that daggone strong.
Yes.
Brother, they play the gangster. You know what I'm saying? Yes. They play that gangster style, and that's really sick because we're supposed to be elevating higher than the devil, but we've fallen into the devil's playground by trying to play gangster. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
Sick to me. So see, I'm not a gangster. I'm just sharing the truth. And it's the unadulterated truth, and it really can't be disputed. I'm not speaking about my opinion and what I think should happen, and this is what I was told. I know, I was there, I seen all the dissension. I remember when Malcolm got killed, how we had to be held up in our houses. The messenger wouldn't even let the sisters and the children even come to the temples. We had to stay in our houses, locked down, with the shades pulled and the curtains. We couldn't even answer the phone unless we answered the phone in a certain way to not give out who we were. So, brother, this thing was real, but was that right? No, it wasn't right. You know, we're supposed to have been about love and peace and unity. Since Farrakhan and his Nation of Islam, especially his FOI, and some of the MGT, they so gangster today, that I can only suggest that a bigger gangster approached Minister Farrakhan and made a deal, because none of us really could understand why all of a sudden Khalid was not the man that he was, and why Khalid did not have his favor. You know, simply because he was teaching just as hard and strong as he was. You know, I want to go back to one of the meetings in Atlanta, Minister Farrakhan's speech that he titled, we own the whole world. Now, what was the name of that? Oh my God. It's going to come back to me. But they were in Atlanta. And Farrakhan was speaking strong and hard about how, you know, we are old. We are old so much as the people of this planet, how we have been treated, that we should own the whole planet. You know, and Dr. Khalid was up there with him, and he was every move Farrakhan made, he made. He was so conscious of every move that he made, like a well-oiled machine, that if Mr. Farrakhan even looked like he was going to teeter a little, Khalid was there to catch him. That was love, brother. What happened? You know, it don't make no sense simply because he said what he said at King College, and you claim you represent the messenger, and you know that the white man is the devil, and you know the messenger said wasn't no good in the white man, and this man is saying that for the benefit of black people, so we won't keep on being lulled to sleep with this black and white together when it has never gotten us anywhere, and then you come up against your brother, and then you don't call him or bring him to you like a son and sit him down and say, Khalid, woo, 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 scoop, scoop, scoop. You go on national TV and have a press conference. Well, that's not protocol. Not between brothers and sisters. If we have a problem, we're supposed to handle it inside the house. At least that's what I know. I don't know what happened. And until the day he died, Khalid, well, I ain't going to say, no, let me go back. Until he seen that Farrakhan really was not going to make amends with him, or was not going to allow them to come back together, he told me personally, because I was concerned, sister, don't worry about it. Me and the minister, we going to work it out. It's going to be all right. And I asked him, why are you taking this? You're too good of a brother. You're too tough of a minister to take this. You can go ahead on and start doing something else. I mean, you are teaching the truth. He said, sister, he did not want to bring dissension in the rank. And that's what he said to me. And I still didn't like it, but I said, yes, sir. If that's how you feel, may it be the will of Allah that y'all will sever y'all differences. And it never happened. And now my brother's dead. And it never happened. And he died, I know, in pain and hurt, because he did not ever see, for real, I don't believe, what was really going on. A lot of them don't even really understand what's going on. But if they would read Surah 81 and Surah 82, the footnotes, then they would really understand what the name Farrakhan means, and then they would understand who he is. To me, the ADL is no more than a bunch of gangsters, and they're bigger gangsters than Farrakhan. So you know how that goes. If the big Don checked the little Don, then the little Don just got to take the offer that he's been given. You know, like they say, they made him an offer he couldn't refuse. You know. So with that said, you know, Khaled became a threat. Now I look at it twofold. That it was also a legitimate way for him to get rid of Dr. Khaled, because at the time, Dr. Khaled's popularity was really soaring, especially amongst the youth. And I'm not talking about more kids. I'm talking about the young college grads, the young intellectuals. Khaled was really finding favor in their eyes. Why? Because he was a Q. And the Qs was having him come to all kind of meetings and paying him very well. And I think Mr. Farrakhan felt like he was kind of, you know, stepping on his territory since they gangsters, you know. The messenger never carried on like that. The messenger never had no white folks coming up before us on Savior's Day and at meetings we was having across the country. That's Farrakhan started that mess. You know, the messenger never allowed anyone to come before us. And he didn't get off into the media and all of that until he developed the Muhammad Speaks. And that wasn't until 1965. Up until that point, it was solid, the Nation of Islam protocol, and that was that. And being that Khaled was the second in command, you know, he knows the protocol. So I know that if Minister Farrakhan, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, if he had handled it properly, then I know Khaled would have submitted because he knew the protocol, even if he did not agree, because we're taught. The messenger taught us in our protocol and in our arms and in our laws and standards that you are to adhere to your superior officer whether you agree with them or not. And I know he talked about Dr. Khalid Muhammad's dissension in the ranks and talked about his disrespect and his disobedience, which, you know, a lot of us never seen that and never understood that simply because he was still speaking hard and strong. And I know that, to me, he did not treat his brother with all fairness and righteous judgment. And I believe there was some selfish motives behind it. But then, yes, because of who he was at the time, I think he did make a lot of people with his sensationalism turn against Dr. Khalid and not love him and not respect him as they once did. You know, Mr. Farrakhan is he is the author.
Yes.
And I going back to what I read in the Holy Quran, he is the author of subliminal suggestion. The brother got it down pat, believe me. Mr. Farrakhan is an author of sensationalism. That's what charms you. He gets you all caught up in what he's saying and how he be saying it, and you almost forget where you at. You know, and that's what the whole thing is. He is a charmer, and he means nothing he say. And let's look at the reality. Is there any evidence of anything that he has said about being our so-called proclaimed
Mr. Farrakhan? Again, no disrespect to Rakim, but Minister Farrakhan is the true microphone fiend. And I say that not out of disrespect, but as a matter of fact. Minister Farrakhan was asked by CBS's Mike Wallace. It said, and you have to be careful with Minister Farrakhan because so many times we are caught by his charismatic personality, his charming personality. You don't want to know the truth, just as you don't want to know the truth about Louis Farrakhan. And again, brothers and sisters, I solicited for an interview with Minister Farrakhan on more than one occasion. I've sent him multiple letters. I've even explained to him that I'm going to eventually one day just have a show with some of the things I want to talk to him about. See, Mr. Farrakhan, and I know that he could out-talk me. I don't even think I'm worthy in that level to even compete with him on some of the wisdom, but he's been doing it for 57 years. But if I was to interview him, after he overtalks me and take me out of the, way out in the water where I'm not trying to go, I'm going to bring him right back. One thing that I do, brothers and sisters, I have an agenda as well. I want to know certain things. He was my principal teacher coming up. You all don't know it. I have all of the tapes, not all the tapes, I take that back. I have lots of his temple meetings from 1964, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have those lectures. The teachings that was going on then that went inside